Here.
Got it right here under my
In
kill.
your mouth.
Just so you know, we were unmuted for that. And what is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, it is all Scottish. Oh, I'm just kidding. We are actually talking about Lazarus, episode 11, Running with the Devil. I live my life like there's no tomorrow. But before we get into all of that, Dave, Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
Keith, I'm fan-freaking-tastic. I never noticed that little thing in the corner there. It's kind of strange. Maybe I'll have to fix that. But yeah, I kind of watched this show. It was a special episode from which there will be no consequences. So actually, in the end, it will mean nothing. We're just filling space until they finally get to the 13th episode and they save the world. So, Doug, how are you doing?
Well, Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. Boy, you know what? I'm just happy to be here with you fine gentlemen, and that's all I'll say about that, because, I unfortunately, I put off watching the episode that we're reviewing today until probably the last minute. I went to go start it up the other day, and I'm like, God, I'm just not feeling it right now. I don't have the energy to watch a show that I'm just not enjoying. But I finally got around to it today, and it was it was there, all right.
I mean, even though it's on, I have a hard time paying attention to it.
Same.
You know it's bad when I'm watching it on my lunch and I get like a Slack message, someone answering my question, and I have no problem pausing the show, answering the work question, and not like being, I'm missing the greatest. I'm like, oh, work, sweet. Why, yes, you can, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I think I got like a text or something on my phone, and I just thought, oh well, I'll check that real quick, and then my phone is more interesting than Lazarus, and then I looked up and like, oh, the credits are running. Okay. I guess before we get into talking about that interesting episode, Keith, sir, how are you doing?
Well, gentlemen, I am tremendous. Having to watch this episode aside, life is good. It's summertime. You're kidding, yes. It's more like having to watch the episode. It's a chore. But the sun is shining. It's summertime here in Michigan. It was 70 today. It's supposed to be like 95 tomorrow. So, all is good. All is good. Oh, and fellow nerd Doug put a link to our merch shop in the chat. So if you're looking to get some fancy-dancy Not Your Status Quo gear like some of us are wearing tonight, please do so. We would greatly appreciate it. It helps our little channel out tremendously. But gentlemen, should we talk this new episode?
If we must.
Okay, let's do it. Lazarus.
And the rest of the world is caught up to the same spot we are now. So it isn't it isn't a review for past episodes. We're all up to date. All right, so go ahead, Keith. I'm sorry.
No worry. That was good. That was good content, good information, because this is episode 11, Running with the Devil, a Van Halen song from their debut album. Now, is this episode as good as the song?
No.
Say no. But we do see Doug and an increasingly ill hacker girl, narrator and an increasingly ill hacker girl arrive in Pakistan, but they're tailed by two army men from INSCOM, and Hirsch decides to go to INSCOM to meet with Schneider, and she tries to blackmail him with the HAPNA prototype clinical trials in the Arizona prison that Hopscotch Willie was a part of, but she ends up getting arrested on treason.
Whoa! I'm completely shocked. She had no plan B. She was just gonna go in there and that was it. She didn't even plan for that to happen.
I'm still struggling to understand. I know that I said this in our last stream, but I'm struggling to understand why our antagonists in the government are so dead set on making this not work. Like, I want to think in a better show that they'll end up coming up with something that's going to be a twist, and we'll realize that like the army was working with Skinner, and secretly they're all looking to end the world and all of their lives or something like that. But I feel like that's too smart of a premise for this show, and I don't think that's actually what we're going to get. I think again, like everything else, they've written themselves into a corner. They need somebody to be the bad guy, but like they don't know who else to pick. And they don't even really have a good reason.
You know, the thing I
Right.
was thinking about too during this whole thing was she's trying to blackmail him with, oh, you guys did a clinical trial on Hapna with prisoners. So, is that really like a huge crime? And did she think in this Hapna infested, you know, I don't even know what to call lackadaisical people, like they would be like, oh my God, they tried this drug out on prisoners during the thing. Oh, we're up in arms. They would care less. The world's
And the
about
thing
to
is,
end.
like-
Did she think that was really going to work? That was the worst plan I have ever
Yes.
seen in a show. On the bright side, at least it didn't work. Like if
Right?
they would have been like, oh yeah, we don't want this info getting out. We'll give you whatever you want. Would have been even worse. But the fact that she thought this was a quality plan, I was like rolling my eyes like, what is going on? Am I taking crazy pills? I've been agreeing with Tucker Carlson lately, and then I'm like, am I missing something on this?
Then she even says what I just said. She looks at Schneider and she says, "What are you even hoping to accomplish? Lazarus is trying to find Skinner and save the world. What are you guys doing? Why are you even trying to stop us?" And the guy can't even come up with an excuse. He goes, "Well, we're gonna have to detain you for, oh, I don't know, treason or something." Like, he knows that everything they're doing is BS. Everyone involved knows that what Schneider and I assume this part of the U.S. Army is doing is complete bullshit. I have to feel like even some of the soldiers within have to know this is all bullshit. Probably especially the ones that were killed by the assassin that we also get to follow in this episode.
We'll
So
get to
this is
that.
their effort to decrease human population, and they don't want to say that.
I
And
mean,
maybe
I
if they
guess
bring
I,
that up,
I don't know.
Is
I
it-
don't know what the goal is.
Actually,
here.
I thought when the army was doing this, I actually had a thought for a minute, and I'm like, oh my God, they want to use this as a biological weapon against the rest of the world, and strengthen the United States. But then I'm like, no, the show wouldn't do something like that. It'll be something
Yeah, that's too
silly
smart
like
for the show. Also, everyone will be dead, so who are they going to kill?
It's like they think they need action, so they create these scenarios that people are coming after
There you
them.
go.
But
That's
these
it.
scenarios wouldn't happen.
That is
in this
exactly what I
situation.
was thinking, Dave, because it's like they know that, okay, this is what we have, told the populace, this is what we're going to bring them, an action-packed show with mystery and intrigue. But it's like, because of the type of story that they wrote, they basically they put themselves between a rock and a hard place, and now they don't know what to do with it. Because they decided that everyone in the world needed to have everyone but, I guess, those people that don't feel pain. Everybody in the world took Hapna. Therefore, everybody is too just kind of like laid back and chill and not wanting to do anything, except for, I guess, Schneider and this part of the army. They kind of want to do something, but everybody else is like really chill, and they're also going to die. And now we've got like only a couple of days left, and it's like they wanted to tell this story, but they put so many constraints on themselves that they're not really succeeding in telling it.
And Dave, you're absolutely right. They're trying to build suspense and tension by having the U.S. Army go after an NSA group trying to find the guy to save the world. Unless they have a valid reason for doing that we hear about in the last two episodes, it's just silly. It just makes no sense. And if they would, it honestly seems like they just phoned this whole series in. Like they said, they really want an episode, and they're like, we're not doing another one. We don't have any good ideas, and they just shoved a boatload of money in front of them and said, "Are you sure you don't have any ideas?" And they're like, "We'll come up with something," and this is what we got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like a show, depending on how the last 2 episodes go, it's like a show that could have probably had 3 or 4 episodes and explained the whole story. Because everything everything in between just seems like fluff.
Way too much fluff. It has been an entire series of fluff. And I will double down on my statement from last Sunday, too. There is nothing that can happen in these last 2 episodes that'll make season 1 worth watching. I can't imagine. It would have to be something incredible. Like, it would have to be like a leprechaun comes out of my TV and gives me 40 bags of gold that, that I could spend. Or there's no way they can make up for all that they've done. I just can't imagine. Well, then we get to another fun scene because we go back to Pakistan. Doug, narrator tells Hacker Girl that, hey, I'll stop and surrender so you can get away. Which isn't too bad of a plan. It'll probably hold him up and she can maybe get where she needs to go. But of course, he's standing there with his hands up and they come out with guns and, they see her taking off. So one gets in the car to go and narrator gets the butt end of a rifle in his head. I don't think he would be able to do much after that. That's very solid. Would hurt very bad. But not only is he able to roll over, he pulls his gun out and he's able to blast the tires of the Jeep, leaving to go after Hacker Girl. And the other army guy is just standing there, not shooting at him. It's like he's on the ground. Is he pulling out a gun? What's he doing? Oh my God! He shot the Jeep.
Oh, dude, my friend is dead.
Yeah. Damn, how did he was able to shoot that tire after I put the butt end of my rifle up against his noggin, and he rolled over and shot the tires out. This guy's great. Maybe we should trust these Lazarus guys. They seem to know what they're doing.
They're very resourceful. Check them out. I mean, wait until the popcorn queen or whatever hears about this.
Now, I also like how, and I do mean this. I do like the one thing that they did with Hacker Girl's character. They're showing her this entire trip. Probably won't end up amounting to anything, but they show her this entire trip. Her face is a little flush. She keeps checking the temperature on her watch thing, which I thought was just to administer a shock or heat or whatever if they stepped out of line, but apparently it's a smartwatch too. I don't know, but
it's a communicator. It checks keeps track of your steps,
whatever it needs to be.
Yeah. And if her temperature gets high enough, it won't burn her hand off. It'll be all the same.
Right. So she keeps checking it, and she's like, she knows that she's running a fever, probably isn't healthy, and even Doug, or narrator guy, he looks at her and says, "Are you feeling all right?" And she looks, yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. Let's go.
Fever's coming down.
doing one. Oh man, I am so great. So the thing that the thing the show is trying to make us believe is that this is getting close to the end for Elena, that she's got this fever and that she may end up dying from hopna soon. I think that's what the show is trying to make us think is happening. I'm betting it's going to be something way dumber than that.
And well, you're right.
She had some bad fish. Or
they started selling it early last episode when they're like, everyone's having this high fever. Don't come to the hospital. Stay at home. All that stuff. So they did try to set it up, and I think you're right. Mm-hmm. They want us. Oh man, she's about ready to drop from hapna or whatever, but it won't be. It'll be like, oh, those Reubens we ate when we sought out clue number 6 had bad roast beef or corned beef. So
there we go. It's going to be something way dumber than what it should be, and we're just gonna. Okay. Seriously, that's about where I'm at with this show. Like, I'm not even mad when something dumb happens anymore. I'm just like, yeah, that may as well be the way it goes. Okay.
The whole thing is dumb. Why are you sending an assassin after somebody trying to save the world? Dumb. It's just
Well,
dumb.
because
Why are
Dave,
you-
he can expose that they were doing clinical trials of a drug on prisoners.
Oh, to who? Everyone's gonna be dead. Who are you gonna
Everyone's gonna be dead.
expose that to?
Right.
And people would just be up in arms over that. Oh no.
For at least 4 days, yeah. And then they'd all be dead.
For at least 4 days.
I mean, jeez.
Just
You're
silliness
gonna get
about it.
sued after everyone dies?
Yeah.
I mean, what's he worried about?
The
don't
end
know.
is everyone's dead except for, one guy who didn't take. Well, the people from the islands who didn't take it, and they'll be, I'm here to serve you. You've been summoned to court
Yeah.
for.
I'm looking for monetary retribution. What? Money doesn't mean anything anymore.
But through sheer strength of will, Hacker Girl manages to find Popcorn Wizard. She's driving off, and she, in a last bit of energy, she is able to get to the truck because it stops and pulls over and lets her catch up. And then she bangs on the side, and Popcorn Wizard opens up, and she collapses.
Yeah. That was very emotional for me. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I just started texting people. It was so
And not about this either. You're texting people
no,
like,
not about this.
hey, did you happen to see...
Completely
Right.
Do you remember that movie with Sylvester Stallone where he was an arm wrestler? What was that song that was at the end of the movie?
It's exactly what I was doing. I was asking people questions.
Oh man,
But-
I had to chuckle because this entire time, like last stream, I had asked a question like, okay, so they're going after Popcorn Wizard, and they haven't really established really what the connection is. I think they're implying that Popcorn Wizard is working for or in somehow knows Skinner or something like that. I think that's what they're implying. But again, the show is not very good at explaining things. And I'm not asking them to outright narrate it and tell us, but, like, I don't know, do something that, doesn't have us sitting here playing guessing games. But this entire time, Elena has been trying to get to Pakistan because, again, she's under the assumption that Popcorn Wizard has something to do with Skinner, and this is, like, their main lead. This is their primary lead to finding him. Again, they've got a lead that mostly amounts to nothing. So now Elena's found her. She doesn't contact Doug at all. So I don't know how he's going to find her. If he's able to escape.
Here's the thing that I don't understand. If she's working for Skinner, why? What does she gain from all this? She would... I mean, everyone's dead. Even if he gives her the antidote just for herself, what is she going to hack the island people that never took Hatna? I mean, what is she going to do? Why would she work for a man and not be saying, I found him, let's save everybody? Because what is her life going to be with everyone dying? It makes no sense. I don't get it. I don't get her motivations. If she is working
Neither
for
do
Skinner,
I.
she has nothing to gain.
So here's my new theory. I don't think she actually does. I don't think she has anything to do with Skinner. I think what's going to end up happening is Elena's going to wake up from, her fever, and Popcorn Wizard's going to be there, I don't know, probably nursing her back to health or something, and she's going to be like, oh, you got to tell me where Skinner is, and she'll be like, I don't know where he is, man. I'm just, like, radical, tubular, doing hacking or whatever, and
Yeah,
then,
this is so cool.
Then they're going to get out all 16 of their keyboards, and they're going to super hack the internet until they find Skinner. That's the only thing that I can think of they're going to do at this point, because they are running out of leads, they're running out of episodes.
Are you working for Skinner? No, I'm not working for... Then why did you hack into our fake, we got a cure thing? Because I'm dying and I wanted a cure. Oh, yeah, okay, that makes
Oh,
sense.
Yeah,
right.
you know what?
Yeah.
On a second thought, that does make sense. Wow.
It's all coming clear now. It's crazy.
Well, should we break out our keyboards and super hack to find them? You know that's right, girl. Popcorn Wizard and Hacker Girl are at it again. I can't even remember. I was like, after she said her name, when she's like, Three Frog Knight or whatever her name was, her hacker name, I was like, I should probably remember. I don't care. Who cares?
Oh,
That's
which
right.
you should call it a screaming banshee or something.
I mean, but
I don't know now. I'm not gonna go
we
back.
got to
and
cover
watch
the last 2 minutes of this show, so I can complain.
it.
Well, okay, we will let's get out of Pakistan and back to the assassin attacking Hopscotch Willie, because my first question: he's walking up to the car. He goes and starts trying to put bullets through the windshield instead of to the open window on the driver's
That he's
side.
leaning out of.
Yes, that he's leaning out of. I'm like, he's not a very good assassin, is he? Because he's making, this guy is like the Phantom Assassin, so he, has never been seen before. He's like the Winter Soldier. There's only rumors about him, but no one has ever seen him and lived.
Nobody
And-
has seen the dude who throws grenades everywhere
and
before.
his whole plan is making such a scene in downtown that cameras are everywhere. People are talking about it. They're live streaming this. Very much out of character for how an assassin like him would actually go and try to execute somebody. I was like watching this going, oh dear God, how did this guy stay undercover all this time?
I don't.
I can't even add anything. That is just so terrible. And his reaction to it, Hopscotch Willie, it's just that it's all a joke, right? But this is
Yeah.
the guy who's supposed to be unaffected by Hopna. So you wouldn't think he'd be worried by bullets flying his direction, right? Wait, I can't wait until the very end. I just go ahead, Keith. Get us to the very end.
Yeah.
So he's. I don't think. So again, I don't think he is affected by Hopna. I think he is an idiot, though.
He's at least written that way, 100%.
Yeah.
But we then go back. We see Abel is with Russian assassin and drone boy, and basically gives the Russian assassin or Russian spy, oh yeah, you can take that rifle out there. I like how she's, oh, do I have permission to take this rifle out? The world's ended in 5 days. Who cares? Do whatever you
Right.
want. Go save your buddy. I don't care. Hopscotch Willie's in trouble. Go save him. And then, I'm reading this letter from Hirsch, and oh my God, she went down there. I'm going to have to go bail her out. Drone boy, I'm putting you in charge. Can I trust you? Yeah, sure, why not? Just go ahead. I'm out. And then, of course,
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna hang out here while everybody leaves. So that'll be me being in charge. Okay.
I wonder if DoorDash will deliver me some pad thai. I wonder.
Right.
People, hello?
It's no one's making fun of you? What's going on?
But, the fight is continuing. Russian spy shows up, and she's trying to get an angle, and they're jumping down, and finally they're on this little fishing boat in the river, and the assassin sees a winged pendant on Hopscotch Willie. And he's like taken back to the myth of Hundun that was told to him during his violent upbringing as an assassin. And I'm glad that you, on the title card, you put the little thing from Shang-Chi, because that is exactly what that reminded me of. Is this something that I was supposed to know or understand, or?
Well, Keith, let me ask you: are you from an Asian nation? China, Japan, Korea.
I am not.
You're not. Okay, then no, you would not know what this creature is.
Okay. I was going to take the time to look it up after, and then I got busy. I had to wash my hair. I had to...
So, you say, I'm glad you put the character from Shang-Chi, right?
Yes.
I did not realize that that's what I put. I just did a Google search for the Hun Nun or Hunlun or whatever, and that was one of the better ones that came up. And then I'm like, well, it looks close to the version that they used in Lazarus. And then I looked up, the actual image of the one from Lazarus. It looks like it's put together from like macaroni noodles. I'm like, we're not using that one. So I went ahead and I used the other one. Yeah, I didn't realize that. It's been a while since I saw Shang-Chi. I didn't realize that it was in there. So,
and it's funny. I totally forgot about that thing until you just mentioned it.
yeah. But I've got a question for you, Keith.
Yes.
And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I admit it. But have we seen this necklace or this pendant on him before?
Not that I recall.
Not that I recall either. And so I know that I've said this before about the way this show operates, but why do they not introduce things and then let it lead to something like a normal show would work? Like, why didn't we weigh it in the first or second episode? He's like admiring it in the mirror, or, one of the other characters notices and says, "Hey, what's that?" And nothing. Don't worry about it.
It was given to me
it's
as
just
a kid
something
or
I've had a
whatever.
while,
Yeah.
tucks back in his shirt. Something that like brings it to everybody's attention. So we're like, oh, that's gonna matter later. The only thing I can think of is that this was George Lucas syndrome. No offense to him, but George Lucas, as we all know, didn't come up with, a lot of the story elements that would end up being in Star Wars until like the second or third film. So like, now we're dealing with in Star Wars, we've got, oh, it turns out Luke and Leia are brother and sister. Whoops, they kissed. And oh, it turns out Darth Vader isn't a separate character from Anakin. They're actually the same person. It's from a certain point of view. So I'm thinking that the creator did that with Lazarus, and it's just like, oh, you know what? I want to insert this mythological Chinese character to explain, the mindset and the sort of teachings that they shoved into these assassins that are essentially yet another knockoff of Black Widows. Because the actual female Russian spy that I've got as part of Lazarus wasn't quite good enough. I need a Chinese version of that.
Yes.
So I've got to get a reason to. I'm a storyteller. I'm an epic storyteller. I've got to find a good, cohesive reason to bring up this character and this backstory. I know. I'll give Hopscotch McGraw there a pendant that he's never had before in the entire show, and that's gonna draw. I am such a genius, man.
Look at me.
And it would have been nice if, like, he would have seen it and, what is that? I don't know. My dad had it or something, and you find out it was an ancient, rival to these assassins. It was like, the Black Hand versus the fist of Shang-Chi or something. It's like anything that, instead of just, oh, what is that necklace that no one has ever seen on this show before? It's going to give me pause. Will anything come of it? Not on this show.
No. Not in this show. Maybe that's the theme. Maybe that's the overall theme. All of this stuff that keeps happening doesn't matter because the theme of the show is, in the end, nothing really matters.
Isn't that the message of Rick and Morty? Is that nothing matters? Because
No, it is.
So-
Because they just,
Yeah,
this
but told
world's
better.
dead, so we're going to go to this next world.
Mm-hmm.
so
But-
that's another copy, if that's the case.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But then this ends. They're on that boat. Russian spy girl is running to trying to blast, and he's got a knife and he's got a harpoon, and he throws the knife or the butcher's knife. It gets stuck in his leg, and the assassin puts the harpoon through Hopscotch Willie, right through his midsection, and he
Easy
dives
shot.
off. He goes away. He's out. Russian spy girl runs up, and he's lost a lot of blood. So my first thought is, yes, they killed him. Then I remember that Doug has seen previews for episode 12, and he told us that he was in a hospital bed. And I'm like, maybe they should have held off on how much blood was spilling onto the deck of the ship that they showed us when Chris ran up. I'm sorry, Russian spy girl. I'm watching it. I'm just like, oh, good. 5 days left. I'm finally done with my work for the day.
It really is work, isn't it?
That throw had to be, all right, has to be like a javelin, right? And to make that throw, and for him not to have any way to get out of the way, is just crazy to me. And didn't they threw at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they did, he'd be more in like this kind of position. How could he get hit right in the center? I don't know. Maybe it's just the details. I just think,
Well, and how would he? Those harpoons are pretty heavy.
Yeah.
How would he have the strength to throw it so hard that it goes right through the
All
guy?
the way through.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. And I'm thinking, all right, they're gonna kill him. They're gonna kill him. It's gonna be great because there's gonna be consequences. But then I said, nope, this is the show. I even talked to these guys about the preview for next week, and I'm like, there's no way that that's gonna be the consequence. In fact, not only will that happen, he will live, but he will probably be up and around before the end of the show.
Yeah, it'll be
Because
like
Dave-
Black Widow falling off the stairs and getting shot in
Yeah.
the movie and then like running away.
Perfectly fine. No injuries whatsoever. The one person who doesn't have any sort of super soldier serum running through her veins or, an exoskeleton suit. She's just a chick who had training and she was perfectly fine. And I'm sure parkour dude is going to be just fine too.
Now we have a comment on YouTube. I don't want to butcher your name, but last name is Kumar. Says I should show this video to my mom that anime is not for kids, even adults watch them. 100% true. You tell your mom, bring her on, we can talk to her. Anime is not just for kids. It is for adults. It's for everybody. Some anime is just for adults, but anime is not just for kids at all. I mean, amazing animes like Cowboy Bebop and Death Note, they're for everybody. Just because it's animated does not make it a kids show.
I was about to say we've watched some pretty good anime on this channel, and we've trust me much better than this. And a lot of the scenes that we've reviewed and discussed are not kid friendly.
Yeah, we do
Definitely take a look at Death Note.
we do tend to like the more serious, mature anime. But I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of, well, I don't know if it's considered an Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't know if that's considered anime. That was
I think
sort of
it's
a kid's
inspired by
show.
it, but I don't think it's technically.
Yeah, but that was still kind of a kid's show, but it was still good. It was well written and had a lot of good qualities to it. So even ones that are made kind of for kids can still be good enough to be enjoyed by adults.
One of our favorite shows on this channel, not anime, but constantly being, called into question because it's a cartoon, is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. It's an animated series. It's a great animated series, and it's got a lot of amazing episodes, many of which probably also aren't for kids. But, yeah, I mean, just because it's animated does not mean that it's for kids.
And the Clone Wars just tied together the prequel trilogy very well. It would make you enjoy the prequel trilogy now with all that extra information that they weren't able to get into a movie.
Well, think about it. If as an adult you don't want to watch cartoons or animated series, you're going to miss out on Invincible. You're going to miss out on like Creature Commandos. You're going to miss out. Can't think of anything else off the top of my head now. But
They were actually, speaking of Creature Commandos, not to put us too much into tangent time, but
Bad Batch.
I have seen lately people that never watched it that have been commenting saying, "Oh yeah, I'm just waiting for DC to put out a movie or something," and people commenting, "Well, what are you going to do about Creature Commandos?" "Oh, no, I didn't watch that. That's a cartoon. I think I can do without the cartoons." And it's like they're dismissing it because it's animated, and because a lot of people seem to have this mindset that animation automatically equals cartoon equals for kids, not for anyone above the age of 10. And I'm sorry, but that's just not how anything works.
animated films and series are for everybody.
Look at Simpsons and Family Guy,
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead. I would not recommend those necessarily to younger kids.
South Park.
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely South Park. I literally turned on an episode of South Park yesterday, and I'll try to keep this family friendly. But at one point, this is not late at night, they turn one of the characters into a male member. I'll put it that way. And this floppy male member is now hopping around the screen in full view of everybody. Not censored, just there.
Well, yeah,
Clearly not for kids.
They can say the S word and the F word. I think they can say the F word once past 10 p.m.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy regulations nowadays.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, sorry. That was a bit long-winded, our friend that is in the chat there. But, yeah, we agree with you. Just because it's animated does not mean it's for kids. Yep. Although Lazarus may have been written by kids. I don't know what the excuse is for this one.
This series is not for anyone.
That's great. The series not for anyone. Yeah.
And if you're new to the channel, I'm the overly positive guy. If that tells you anything you need to know. But there's 5 days left. I am finding it nearly impossible to care. I'm not like, this show doesn't end and I'm like, oh, I need episode 12 now. I'm like, well, Sunday night episode 12 will drop. I'll have to watch it sometime after that.
Yeah.
At least we are not discussing that this Sunday, right? We're talking about something else.
It doesn't drop till later in the night Sunday, so because it's on Adult Swim or whatever, so it won't be on until 10 or 11 o'clock.
Well, either way, we're talking. No, you're out of town this weekend, aren't you?
I am not.
Oh, that's
if you looked at the stream schedule, I put maybe a Ironheart Theory Palooza if we can come up with any theories.
That's what I'm trying to lead into here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. We could be having a Theory Palooza, folks, and you know how those are.
Here's a question for you. What's going to be better, Lazarus or Ironheart?
Ooh.
Ironheart. I believe
Ironheart. Ironheart. I hope Ironheart.
Oh God. What if it's not?
You know, I've been so concerned that it's overall going to be okay. I think the first couple of episodes are going to be really good, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a couple of stinkers in there. And I'm saying that only because of the previews that we saw, like the one where, you know, she's in the elevator and meeting up with that team of people. It reminded me too much of Miss Marvel, where she, you know, I think she went to Pakistan. I don't remember where she went.
She did.
But, yeah. And then she met up with the Red Hood people or whatever they were.
Red Knife, was it? Red Dagger? Red Dagger.
Yeah, sure, something like that. And then they had their little sand-powered PowerPoint presentation ready to go for her, and then that amounted to nothing. It was like, oh, that was pointless. So I'm just afraid that this show is going to end up with a couple of stinkers in there, and the fact that it's only 6 episodes, I don't know. I think it'll probably be better than Lazarus, but I just don't have high hopes overall.
If it's not, you're going to see some real upset nerds the next couple weeks on this channel. And then hopefully we'll get something good in July, you know, with Superman and Fantastic Four and Eyes of Wakanda after that and Peacemaker. A lot of good stuff coming, hopefully good stuff coming up. I have a lot, and honestly, I do have a lot more faith now in the DCU than the MCU.
Yeah. Same.
I'm worried about Fantastic Four. It could either be huge or nothing. I really hope it brings them back. You know, not only in our eyes, because everything we've been seeing has been like 6.57. You know, I think that's all we've been rating it lately, right? But
we have not had anything like super great.
Pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever. I don't think
it brings it back. I mean,
it'd be nice.
It doesn't, it's kind of scary to know, you know, what's going to happen to the MCU if it doesn't.
Well,
because they're going to
think about this.
Money.
After July, after Fantastic Four First Steps comes out, they don't have another movie until the next July with Spider-Man Brand New Day. So all they have coming out is Eyes of Wakanda, which I think sounds like a pretty cool concept. Whether they execute on it or not, we don't know. Then they have Marvel Zombies, which, who knows? Not my cup of tea per se. Was never into the comics books, but maybe they'll do a good job. The Marvel Zombies episode of What If, I think from season 1, wasn't too bad. It was, it was all right. And then, you finally get into what is going to save the MCU with Wonder Man in December. So, we'll get the Wonder Man series. Everything will be all good again. Phase 6 will just be hopping along, great as ever. So don't worry about the MCU.
Who's writing for Wonder Man? Do you know who's doing that?
Yeah, I can't remember his name now. But he wrote on... What?
Okay.
Yeah.
But you read his stuff before?
Yeah.
Or seen his stuff?
He's done some sitcoms, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and some good sitcoms. He wasn't writing for what is that show? Bazinga guy. I can't even think of that.
Oh, Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang.
So he's got some good writing credits under his belt. Like if you've seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's a great show. Andy Samberg is awesome. So we'll see how I'm hopeful that Wonder Man's good because I like the hero so much. So I kind of joke, but they're kind of making it almost a comedy and drama. They're trying to mix it, and we'll see if that goes well or not. But
a dramedy.
Then we got Daredevil Born Again season 2 in 2026. We got Vision Quest. We got Brand New Day, and then we got Doomsday in December of 2006. So hopefully things are back. And then, for the DCU, we got Superman coming up. We got Peacemaker. We got Lanterns. We got Supergirl. And then I don't know if anything else has been announced that is being released. Creature Commando Season 2.
Didn't, I thought Clayface had a release date.
Oh, you're right. It does. It does. 2027, though, I believe. Oh, no, it was 2026, too.
Yeah, I thought it was,
the script was done.
sometime. But, what we saw James Gunn say this week is that, exactly what you and I and Doug suspected is that they just tried to push out too much content without having any script done. He kind of verified that. He said that they had done that. They had set up series and started filming before the script was complete, and that's probably what's going to take them down.
Yeah,
or I don't know if he said down or...
He said it definitely hurt him. Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a mandate that you have to produce this much content, you're rushing stuff into production, and the quality is going to be hurt by that. It's great to have a plan, and it's great to... I mean, I'm all for more projects the better, but when it's affecting the quality of what you're putting out, and it's hurting the overall MCU, because even good movies like Thunderbolts, people have checked out.
Yeah.
And we got a quality movie, and it probably isn't going to lose money. Probably not in the long run. I think it made enough that with DVD sales and everything else, it'll come even. But when the CEO mandates that you got to have so many movies and so many shows come out, then you go into production without a finished script, and you get movies that aren't as good.
Yeah, and you think about it. When was Endgame? 2019, in the summer of 2019.
Was it really?
And yeah, and you know what they could have done was take a year off, build up some. You just put out 23 or 22 movies that were just gold. I mean, there were a few stinkers, but mostly gold, right?
Sorry,
and then you don't do anything for you don't do anything for maybe a year, and you put together the next 3 phases. If you want to repeat the process, but they didn't. They waited 6 months, and then they put out their TV shows, which obviously WandaVision was better, but then the second one was Falcon and
the Winter Soldier.
It was kind of a dud because of a few things, they had to change in the script. I mean, I see how it could have been a much better series. But
It
then,
had its
then
moments, but yeah, it underwhelmed.
then they started stumbling after that. If you just give, just take because a lot of people don't care about these secondary characters. You got to make them care.
Well, and that's what, when you told us, I don't remember when it was now, but your friends, they're like, I'm not seeing Thunderbolts. I don't want to see the the side characters or whatever. And that's going to affect people too, because, they've introduced so many heroes since Phase 3. I mean, we haven't seen Hawkeye, haven't seen Moon Knight again, Doctor Strange, well, he was in No Way Home. I mean, Miss Marvel had the 1 season, and now that's gone. Loki got his 2 seasons. I mean, just so many people got introduced instead of just saying, okay, let's introduce these characters and go this way. Or recast.
Mm-hmm.
As much as everyone loved Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, you can recast Iron Man. If you can recast James Bond, you can recast Iron Man. I wouldn't want to be the guy that follows Robert Downey Jr., but you could still do it.
Right. I mean, that's always the way you can go. I mean, everybody understood that eventually they were going to recast James Bond. Who's going to be the next so-and-so? Like, who's going to be the next Wolverine? So far, nobody's going to be the next Wolverine. And I think that's awesome.
Till he's 90.
Until he's 90.
Oh, God.
Eventually, somebody will, though.
Yeah. Well, they should. He posted on his Instagram, I think, working out. So people are like, oh, getting ready for Doomsday, which I hope that's true. That'd be nice. But you know what? We've gotten sidetracked mightily there. Should we rate this amazing, wonderfully grand episode of Lazarus?
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
12 out of 10.
On a negative scale. Like
The Rebel Moon scale.
Well, I can start. I mean, the music disappeared again. I don't know if you guys noticed. The animation, I'm just like, everything kind of fell off this episode. It became really boring to me. I think I barely even looked at the screen after the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Just whenever I heard some action, that I'd look up. And especially that end part when you know it has no real consequences, that he's not going to die, even though it got a harpoon into his heart and he dumped his whole blood supply out on the dock. He's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. He will probably kick that guy's butt in the last episode.
I'm sorry, did I ruin it for you, Dave? I shouldn't have told you about the preview, huh?
It doesn't matter. We would have figured it out.
Trust me, even if you hadn't told us that he was in a hospital bed in the preview for the next episode, I would have assumed that was the case.
Yeah. I can't sympathize or empathize with any of these characters. They're all just so paper thin. I'm just going to give this episode a 2.
See, I think I'm going to be a little nicer than Dave on this. And I know that is to the surprise of no one. Because while the story had so many bad choices in it, like trying to blackmail without anything worthy that they should be scared of or worried about, especially with the world ending, and infighting in the U.S. instead of just having the main goal be everyone finds Skinner, and guys being able to shoot while they're upside down on the ground after being get the butt end of a rifle to the head. Trust me, Doug and I were both in the military. We've carried around M16A2 rifles. You get hit in the head with that, you're not seeing straight for a little while. And all of that, but there's still some positives. Not the characters, not the story,
Not the character.
but the animation is still pretty good. I watch it and I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. But then, like Dave said, you don't care anything about any of these characters. When I'm actively rooting that Hopscotch Willie gets killed by that assassin, because the character is so annoying to me. He doesn't have any depth. They throw in that winged little emblem or necklace to throw off the assassin without hinting at it ever before. They're not laying things out in the first couple episodes to bring it all in. In these last, they're just creating new things. Like we need a reason why this assassin is going to pause for a minute. Let's have it be a necklace that he recognized. Oh yeah, let's just do that. That works for me. Should we set it up earlier? No, we've already finished those episodes. Let's just move on. And like the assassin trying to shoot him through the front window instead of the open side window, and causing such a scene when he's this phantom assassin who's never been seen. It makes me giggle and laugh that it is so bad. And I enjoy it to a certain extent that it's this bad. Like, I'm like, they can't keep being this bad, can they? But they do. They keep it up. And I can't wait to see episode 12 to see how they carry on this tradition of this is like Seinfeld, where they're like, the characters never learn and nothing has consequences. That's what this whole series is. It's Seinfeld anime. So for that,
only Seinfeld was good.
Yeah, Seinfeld was good, yes. But they've adopted that mentality. And for that, I'm going to give it a 4. Because I did get some enjoyment out of it. Mainly laughing at the terrible choices the writers made for it. Is that a good reason to like a show, that it's so bad it made me laugh?
It's hitting you.
Need I remind you of...
Oh, yes. The Madam Web Steelbook. Yes, you're right.
So bad that I laughed. And I have watched it since we saw it in the theater. Normally, with bad movies that we see in the theater, normally I'll say I have no intention on ever watching that again. I haven't watched Venom 3 since we saw it in the theater. I haven't watched Craven since we saw it in the theater. I've watched Madam Web. It's funny. It's so terrible that it's funny. And I think, Keith, you're suffering from Madam Web syndrome. This show has just gotten to be so bad.
Is it like Stockholm Syndrome?
So thoroughly.
Where I start to love my captors?
Oh.
Yes. You said it earlier. You said it that normally you're the positive one. Keith, this show broke you. I've never heard you be this negative about a show. Episode after episode after, like, this has been a couple of weeks of this, and I don't think your body knows how to deal with this. Like, your brain is actively trying to fight this off.
I can't sleep at night.
Right.
I don't know what to do.
What have you done to me, Lazarus?
Really trying to find the bright spot, and he can't do it.
Right. So, because Lazarus has hurt my poor friend Keith and tortured him so thoroughly, for that it gets a 1 out of 10.
A 1.
But that's just my own internal review. As far as the nerd review goes, I'm probably going to give it a 4 out of 10 as well. It's not any better than it's been. It's just more of the same at this point. I think I'm kind of like Keith, where I've just come to expect what I'm seeing now, and I don't really have a whole lot of high hopes for the direction of the show, for the story. It's just, I still have these moments of, why? Like, I ask myself as I'm watching it, like, why would you do that? Why is this the decision that you're making? Why is the U.S. government actively trying to stop the one group? Apparently, it seems like nobody else is looking for Skinner. I think even Skinner said in the last episode, you all are supposed to be looking for me, and nobody has. And I just want to remind you that you only have, such amount of days left, and I'm the first one who took it. So that's it. If I'm gone, you lose the cure.
That's cool skin, baby.
Well, at one point,
all right.
Remember too, they kind of hinted that the Russians were kind of looking for him because they were in the same area as the former Russian spy girl. But there's been nothing since then, and the Russians and someone else attacked that poor guy that was in debt in the one rent-a-bunker earlier in the episode too. But either they are so clueless they can't figure out any clues to where he is, or they just stop caring. It's all right. Just stop looking for him. We're cool.
I guess. And it's like, most of the motivations, unless these last two episodes are going to blow us away and they're going to reveal what the secret plan was all along, I don't think this is actually going to happen. But pretty much everything that has been done in every one of these episodes, as we've stated, stream after stream, has been for nothing. Everything has been pretty pointless. And then today, in the episode that we're reviewing today, the fact that once again they're introducing this assassin plot, and they're sending, agents to stop Hacker Girl and Narrator Man, who just so happen to have figured out where Popcorn Wizard is, who we also have no idea what she's doing in Pakistan or what her relation to Skinner, if any, is. So this is basically just layer after layer of a shit sandwich. That's what this is. It is just nonsense on top of nonsense, layered on top of nonsense, with a big old goop of creamy mayo holding it all together. So, yeah, seriously, 4 out of 10. It's stupid. I've come to expect how dumb it is. It's probably not going to get any better, but who knows? We got 2 more episodes, so don't know.
Yeah, we could go back and do Spawn season 2.
Oh, God.
Dave, why do you hate us so much? What did we do to you? Dear God.
Look, if I get the blame for Spawn, Dave, you get the blame for Lazarus.
Well, I've accepted the blame for Lazarus.
But just so you
I am
know,
not to be trusted.
we will be reviewing episodes 12 and 13 on Monday, June 30th. So be ready for that.
Yay.
It is going to... We're probably going to take Twitch's and YouTube servers down, with everyone gathering up to hear how this all makes sense.
And how it affected us personally.
Yes.
Well, because, we've got so many things that still need to be resolved. Like, we need to find out, first off, why, if this is affecting everybody in the entire world, why did we need to put together our secret team of extraordinary young people? Why did we need to turn them into kind of a suicide squad?
Well, and that's the thing, Doug, you hit it perfectly on your head. This is affecting everybody on the planet. It's not like nations should be fighting over fighting.
Exactly.
They should be like, this is going to affect all of us. This isn't
the NSA,
the United States attacking Iran or Russia attacking Ukraine. This isn't like someone against, it's everyone needing to find a cure. And so why they're fighting is illogical and I cannot make any sense of it.
I don't get it. I do not understand it, Keith. But yeah, like everything they've done is illogical. And then that stupid reveal of the winged necklace thing, which, first off, okay, I didn't even mention this, but the necklace that Hopscotch McGee is wearing is just a wing. It's just a wing. How many things have wings, real or otherwise? And it just so happened to be enough to trigger a memory of some sort of faceless monster beast in our assassin. Just the wing. And
they didn't say, like, there's a group that uses that emblem as their symbol. We didn't hear that. You're right. It was just this faceless monster that people poke holes in its eyes or whatever has some wings on its back.
Right?
It was a very detailed little wing. Come on. You had to know where it was from.
It was a very nice necklace. You're not wrong, Dave. It was... whoever crafted it really put their love and effort into making it a wonderful necklace to be passed down from generation to generation.
Oh, which episode did they explain that in?
It was the prequel comic that hasn't been released yet, but I got an advanced copy of it. It ties everything together. I don't know why they didn't release it as an episode, because it really makes everything good.
I swear, you know what? I'm going to look that up, and I'm going to see if something like that actually, because we have found out in some previous movies and shows that they have done a prequel comic that they did not market or advertise. Now I'm wondering.
Or the manga. Oh my God.
Manga.
I apologize. The manga. Maybe there's a manga explaining it. But while Doug is looking that up, we actually have some news and rumors.
Huh.
Oh, we're moving on? All right.
We are moving on, and these are almost all in the MCU or Marvel. So, and this is the first thing, we've already talked about this a little bit on Slack, but they are continuing the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s in comic book form, releasing September 3rd, which I'm excited for. I hope they do a good job. But of course, then we come to find out that the head writer of the series was never contacted. They never said anything to him. They just kind of decided to move forward with this continuation without contacting the old head writer, which seems to be standard operating procedures for Marvel Studios and Marvel Comics at this point. So I'm hoping it's good, but I think that's kind of a crappy thing to do to their creators.
I'm with you on that. That's some shady stuff right there.
It
I did not
definitely-
know that. I just knew the first part. I didn't know the second part. That's kind of really shady of Marvel. What's going on down there?
Yeah, I don't know. Because, like, the DCU, James Gunn is bringing in all these creators were behind the scenes on Superman, and, you know, he's hiring comic book writers to write the shows and pulling from that and doing all this stuff. He seems to be much more of a comic book nerd, wanting to make comic book movies based on where Marvel seems to be like, let's hire some people who've never never read a Marvel comic, and then we'll let them read some, and then they'll try to do their best for the character. And sometimes that could work, like Tony Gilroy never watching Star Wars and then writing Andor. He at least understood the assignment and did a great job. But, yeah, I don't know. But the next little item,
Couldn't find anything.
I figured they didn't put that much effort into it. But
Yeah.
Marvel Studios reportedly had, past tense, plans to introduce Lin Lee as the main Iron Fist in the MCU. And the fact that they are now saying had plans really worries me, because I believe we are getting Finn Jones back as Danny Rand in the MCU.
Well, watch him come in and nail it.
Thank you. Thank you for that silver lining, Dave.
Yes.
Let's hope that is the case.
Oh no. Keith is so broke from Lazarus that Dave had to give the silver lining this time. What is happening? Quick, we need to review something good. We need to fix Keith.
We're all
There's
going
only-
under.
There's only 5 days left.
Oh no.
Actually, there's 5 days left, but there's 7 days till the next episode. So we'll all be dead by the time it comes out.
Yeah, we'll never know what happens. I would be okay with that. But according to Daniel RPK, multiple endings are being tested for Vision Quest.
Okay.
One option includes a finale featuring Ghost Agatha and Billy. And another will highlight Wanda's return.
I would go with the Wanda's Return. That's what my guess is going
Me
to be.
too.
I would too. Like out of the both of them, Billy and Agatha showing up doesn't sound like it would make any sense.
They got their own thing going on. I think they got to bring Wanda back, and
Yeah.
if they
Yeah,
do it the right
if that
way-
was the plan to actually bring her back, then yeah, bring her back. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of like how Dave was. I don't know if you still feel this way, but I don't like when they kill off a character and then bring them back. I feel like it undermines why they died in the first place.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
you're
agree
not
with that.
wrong.
But
It's got
out
to
of the
mean
two of
something
those,
there.
I guess I would go with the Wanda ending, but I still don't like it.
Now, when they say Wanda's return, I hope she was never dead and just used her magic to make everyone assume she was dead or something along those lines. Because if she actually died at the end of Doctor Strange in the
Strange.
Multiverse of Madness. Don't bring her back. But if she was able to bring that down but safely get away, I mean, she's a very powerful, witch. So she could have been able to save herself. And maybe she was hidden away doing research, trying to figure out what she can do, yada, yada, yada. Don't bring her back from the dead. Just have her return.
See, the only reason why I kind of assumed, even though, again, we didn't see a body, the reason why I assumed that the implication was that she was dead is because they stated that they were basically doing Terminator 2 rules. They were saying that they had to get rid of every instance of the Darkhold, which meant they had to destroy the mountain temple, they had to destroy, what's his name, and because Wanda had read it, technically she would have had to have died too in order to get rid of every existence of the Darkhold. And so I assumed that's what they were going for. Now, obviously they are free to change things, but...
Well, just because they're trying to destroy every instance of the Darkhold doesn't mean they can succeed.
Okay, all right. Fair.
And even when watching that movie, I never got the feeling for a second that she was actually dead.
Me neither.
I did. That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, until we see a body, she ain't dead. She did a little up close magic, brought a card out like Ant-Man, and fooled everybody.
There's just too many stories with her that they can tell,
And she could be a big part of the mutant saga because she is technically a mutant, even though they haven't really said it.
I mean, she's technically a lot of things, and they keep kind of changing what she is. Did she get her powers from the Infinity Stone? Has she always had witch powers? Is she truly a witch? Is she a mutant? Who's to say? I guess whatever story they stick her in, that's where it's going to be. And I think that's how it was in the comics. I think when it came to X-Men related comics, she's a mutant. But when it's like specifically Wanda in the Avengers comics, I think she's a witch.
Yeah, they have retconned. I mean, for a while, Magneto was her dad, and then they find out he wasn't really, and then kind of he is again, and it's always they're always retconning her story.
And then I think in the X-Men animated series, they kind of merged a couple of the stories together and said that he is her dad due to his DNA being used by
the High
what's his name,
Evolutionary.
Beastmaster, High Evolutionary. The High Evolutionary used his DNA in order to create Wanda, so technically due to DNA he's her father, but I think that's kind of like the story that X-Men the animated series went with.
Yep. Now, another rumor.
Okay.
Bob Sentry will have a pivotal role in Avengers Doomsday.
Okay.
I hope so.
800 different characters are going to have pivotal roles in Avengers.
Right. I was trying to think they got to stick Adam Warlock back in there, right? Is he going to, have they announced him being in the movie?
They have not. None of the Guardians have been announced.
Huh.
So this could be a Guardians-free movie. Which I do
New rumor, Batman will have a pivotal role in Avengers Doomsday.
But I do hope if they do keep the Guardians out of this, we do get, because there's been rumors that they're working on a Nova series, could be Annihilation. Hopefully hopefully the cosmic side of the MCU during the Mutant Saga can be Nova, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and maybe former Heralds of Galactus, fighting the Annihilation Wave with Annihilus or whatever. Good stories again. Let's have that. They don't need, just because they've been introduced doesn't mean they have to be in Doomsday. We don't need 1,700 characters in this movie. Just give us a good movie.
Well, look, they plugged it into the Marvel algorithm, and it returned, actually, yes, you do. You need all of the characters because ticket sales show that the highest grossing movies were the movies with the most characters. So obviously the lesson that we need to take away is that more characters equals more money.
They each get 2 lines, and that's it. That's the whole movie.
That was the weirdest movie. It was like just a bunch of talking.
I'll avenge you, said Thor. Hey, buddy, you're going to need some technology, said Iron Man, who was back for some reason.
Hey, I can help you build that. I'm a genius, said Mr. Fantastic. Reed, why are you always offering to help everyone? Sue. But
The movie was 150 minutes long and it had 150 characters. So each one had a 1-minute monologue.
Doom, said Dr. Doom. That was the only thing he said in the entire movie.
That was it.
if he's only gonna have one line, I hope he's calling someone a dolt. You dolt! How dare you?
Oh my god.
Now, how are they going to start off that movie with him killing Magneto?
Oh, they didn't say he's killing Magneto. They say he's fighting Magneto.
Okay, fighting. Well, Magneto's gonna end up hurt somewhere.
See, part of the rumor about Sentry is that he needs basically his power to try to bring back his universe. It'll be like Franklin Richards, Sentry. It'll be the Bangle, Miss Marvel's Bangles, Shang-Chi's 10 Rings, and all of that will be needed to kind of part of his plan to bring back his universe that was, destroyed or whatever. So we'll see.
Susanna Hoffs is going to be there. I'm there.
It is just another Manic Monday. But now this isn't a rumor. A new untitled Marvel movie has been officially slated to release on December 15th, 2028. My first thought,
X-Men.
Avengers Forever. I
Avengers
still
Forever.
think we're going to get a third Avengers film to close out Phase 6. It'll be Doomsday, Secret Wars, and then like Avengers Forever. They won't do a part 2 Secret Wars. It'll be called Avengers Forever. That'll bring all of these Avengers characters together to finally stop this major problem, and then we'll move on.
Any movies in between?
Not that we know of.
They probably have to have a few movies in between, or one or two in between, just to introduce all the characters that they're going to put into those movies.
It would be a good idea to at least have something released between Secret Wars and whatever, if it is an Avengers movie on December 15th, because there's, according to Variety, this kind of ties into all of this. Marvel Studios has 4 major movies in development. X-Men, Fantastic Four First Step sequel. It says Blade, but okay. And Black Panther 3, which we know Ryan Coogler is working on Black Panther 3. We've heard that Doctor Strange 3 is in development. We've been hearing Blade has been in development. We also heard the rumor a couple weeks ago that Midnight Suns was going to be a thing and not Blade. And it makes sense if they're confident in Fantastic Four First Steps that they might be, working on sequel plans already.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, could be any of those. I still think it's going to be another Avengers film, but it could be X-Men. It could be a Fantastic Four sequel. It could be Blade. Could be Midnight Suns. Could be Black Panther 3. Could be Doctor Strange 3. Could be Thor 5. We've heard about, rumors about another Thor movie. So there's definitely a lot of options.
Or Nova. That would be good.
Yes.
Start off how that. No, but you got to wait until the next phase, I guess.
Well, if Secret Wars is the last Avengers movie and they don't have one after that, that would be the end of Phase 6. And then we'd be moving on to Phase 7. So, it could be. Now, we did get some other news today. Thunderbolts director Jack Shearer is directing the X-Men reboot for Marvel Studios.
Oh, okay.
So, we all liked Thunderbolts. Hopefully this is a good choice. I hope he understands the assignment. But, hey, if they're hiring directors, we'll probably be hearing sooner, maybe San Diego Comic-Con, which is coming up in July. Maybe some news about it, when it's coming out, things of that nature.
I
Is
wonder
it going to
what
be...
storyline they're going to start with.
That is a good question.
I'll state again what I said when we first heard about, when we first heard this rumor that Marvel was going to do an X-Men reboot. The one thing that I think they're going to have to struggle with is they're either going to have to do a Fantastic Four like thing where they pull them from another universe, or they're going to have to redo pretty much everybody's stories because so much of what makes Magneto who he is the fact that he was a Holocaust survivor. So unless they're going to make him like 100-year-old man who's somehow still leading the Brotherhood of Mutants, and because he's like Omega level, he is able to stay young and also be with Rogue. Ugh.
She don't know.
It's just, I don't know. I struggle to figure out how Marvel is going to pull this off in 2025. I want them to, but I don't know how.
The one thing that makes most sense to me is if it is a soft kind of reboot post Secret Wars, much like they had with, oh my God, I can't think, Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they kind of like, okay, all these other universes are now gone. It's one universe kind of mixed and matched with certain places so that can, hey, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men and everybody were kind of here for the whole time now. It's no longer oh, well, we're from a different universe where all this stuff happened and now we're here. They'll hopefully do something that makes sense and doesn't distract from the movie because, I'm looking forward. I love the X-Men. I'm really hoping the Mutant Saga starts ramping back up the MCU to where it's, must-see movies and stuff instead of, I hope this one's good.
Right. Let's go cast these people, put them out there, and then we'll write a script after we've started filming.
Yeah. Filming starts on June 16th. The script will be done July 31st. Wait a minute.
What? Oh, we had some really cool stunts that we planned out, so go do those, and then we'll figure it out how to put them in the movie. Which I have no doubt that has happened at some point. They thought of a really cool stunt that they wanted in a movie, and then they wrote the movie around it.
I would not be surprised to hear that was true also. All right. Should we find somebody to raid, gentlemen?
I think we should. I see that TG is still on.
Always a good person to raid.
That seems to be. I mean, we've got a lot of other folks, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like TG would be a good idea. What do you gentlemen think?
I agree.
TG, he's always good.
All right. Before we leave Twitch, I'm just so happy that Rube Enk 525 was kind enough to offer us best viewers on streamboospace.com.
Yeah, I mean, they offer the best viewers over the cheap viewers. That's what we really respect.
So, thank you, Rube Enk 525, for that. But for those of you that are watching us on YouTube, what we're getting ready to do is raid. It is something you do on Twitch where we take all of our fine and lovely viewers on Twitch and head over to another channel, usually somebody that is a friend of ours that we'd like to support by dropping off our viewers with them and, letting them watch other great content. Unfortunately, YouTube has not quite gotten with it and does not have a good method of doing anything similar for live streams. It almost seems like it's an afterthought, kind of like shorts. But anyway, if you want to continue to support us on YouTube, if you are not already subscribed, please do so. Definitely like our video, share it with all of your friends, and what we would really love above all else is if you would get down there in the comments, add a comment down below, and as always, we'll see you next time, right here on Not Your Status Quo. Hey, fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.